Good morning, students. Today we shall be discussing a new sonnet, and this is the sonnet number 55, written by William Shakespeare. And the title of this sonnet is Not Marble Nor the Gilded Monuments. So, the first line itself of the sonnet is denoting that nothing in this world, neither the marble statues nor the gilded monuments, gilded some metal, which is covered with gold plating. So here he wants to say, here the main theme is of the immortality of the verse, how through his immortal verse he is going to make his friend immortal, because he says that there are great princes, great kings. Generally, what do they do to make them immortal in their own lifetime? They give orders so that their statues are being built, and gilded monuments and great marble statues are made, so that they are remembered after their death. Okay, so but he says, with time is very sluggish. So time, doesn't wait for anybody. So what happens with sluggish time? So its effect is there, and everything is being destroyed with time. But time can never overpower literature. That is the power of literature. So, from this particular sonnet, you also come to the conclusion that, the poet is giving, he's giving more importance to the verse which is more powerful than time, So, verse which stands immortal and which can make people immortal. Okay, so I will just read out the sonnet for you. And sonnet, as you already know, sonnet is of 14 lines, and now first 8 lines are octave, remaining 6 lines are sestet, and in the last 2 lines you will find out how beautifully poet comes to the conclusion. So not marble nor the gilded monuments of princes shall outlive this powerful rhyme. See, in the first 2 lines and in the second line itself, Shakespeare is telling you about how powerful literary verse is, that nothing, everything else with time will be destroyed. Okay, but even time, cannot overpower the powerful work of literature. So way back, written in 16th century, today in 21st century, you're reading these lines and you're reading about his friend's beauty. Okay, though the physically body may perish, but his immortality, his virtues, his modesty remains in these lines. But you, now here you refers to his friend. But you shall shine more bright in these contents, means in my lines. You will shine, your beauty will be kept intact. With time can also not overpower you. So time can overpower everything else. Beautiful monuments will, maybe there are floods. Great civilizations also came to an end. Then what about these with wars also? So everything will be, overturned and, demolished. So he says, but you shall shine more bright in these contents. Contents is his content, that is his writing poetry, than unswept stone besmeared with sluggish time. Now see, this particular poem is very rich in figures of speech. You will find many metaphors, you will find many similes, you will find personification. Okay, now then unswept stone besmeared with sluggish time. Suppose there is a statue of a king, and today, after many decades, what happens? These statues also, they are, full of what you say, because they have not been, dusted. So what happens? They are full of dirty mud, and they are destroyed. So time doesn't wait for anybody. So with time, everything comes to an end. So then see, in the fifth line, you will find there is the use of alliteration. When wasteful war, the repetition of www, when wasteful for, and wars are always wasteful. With war, you see so many people are killed, crops are destroyed. So war is never being fruitful. So when wasteful war shall statues overturn. So these statues, whether they were made of gold, whether they were made of marble, whether gilded monuments, so everything with time, sluttish time will destroy everything. So, and if wars are there, then there will be all these statues, they will not stand what you say, power of the war. And broils root out the work of masonry. Masons, they create such beautiful monuments, such beautiful idols of these kings. So how passionately they had made these, but with what happens with broils, with wars, everything will be destroyed. Now see, here is a reference to the Roman god of war, Mars. So literary allusions are also there. Nor Mars his sword, nor war's quick fire shall burn the living record of your memory. Oh my friend, I can immortalize you. When I write about your beauty in my poetry, so today the posterity, today still the great readers, the students are still reading about your beauty. So you haven't died. So because these statues are overturned, So who has remained? Your living record has remained in my poem. So here poem proves to be more powerful, okay? And it is against time. So he says, even the, Lord of war, God of war, that is the Mars, even his sword, even the fire of the war, which is so destroyful, which destroys everything. Wars are wasteful, but they cannot waste, they cannot destroy your beauty, oh my friend. So in most of the 154 sonnets you have seen, either William Shakespeare has discussed about the beauty of his friend, okay, and his virtues, or the dark lady. So he says, now one more thing, see the theme that, literature, it can overpower time, it can overpower death, and it can become immortal, okay. So against death, all oblivious enmity. Yes, people, because of their, enmity, because of their rivalry, they forget the values of life. So you are against all these things. Your value still remains. That is what I have immortalized you. So not only you see the beauty and power, the immortality of his friend, but also the immortality of his verse, okay. Even in the eyes of all posterity, we are posterity, you are our future, you students. So, till today you are reading about the great beauty of his friend that wear this world out to the ending doom. So, here is the reference to the book of Genesis, the doomsday, when everything is supposed to, it will come to an end. So what will happen? All the souls will rise up from their graves. So, on that day also, till that day, so your beauty remains, and posterity is going to come to know about the immortality of yours. So what does he say? So till the judgment, when the day of judgment will come, so all the living shall die, and all the, the people who are dead shall live. That means everybody will rise from their graves, and everything will come to an end. So on the day of judgment, the people will be rewarded, the souls will be rewarded for their good deeds, or they will be punished for their bad deeds. So till the judgment, that yourself arise. So, oh my friend, you don't need to worry. You are going to survive, So till the judgment, you will survive, that yourself arise. You will find out you live in this. Means you live in my verse, you live in my sonnet, and dwell in lovers' eyes. That means you will always be loved. You will always find lot of praise appraisement from my readers. Okay, so here the poem comes to an end, and just I have given you few notes, from literarydevices.com. So when you make notes, kindly, as I have told you, you can write, just now jot down that these notes are from www.literarydevices.com. Now see, I will just read out this note for you, so that it is very easy to write and make notes. Now, popularity of Sonnet 55, not marble nor the gilded monuments. This sonnet was written by William Shakespeare, a great English dramatist and the poet. Sonnet 55 is about love similar to other sonnets written by Shakespeare. It was first published in 1609. The poet speaks about the immortality of words. Nothing can outshine the power and charm of words. I told you he's talking about the eternal literature, the power of literature, which can, even because time and death never waits for anybody, but here the poem is invincible. So it was first published in 1609. The poem speaks about the immortality of verse. Nothing can outshine the power and charm of beauty of words. It also illustrates how the speaker is proud of his immortal work. And I told you that he says, in the second line itself, he says, of princess shall outlive this powerful rhyme. So he's telling you about the power of literature, power of the poetic lines. So he has made his friend immortal. So he again and again, he again and again is concerned about, when he talks in that sonnet, shall I compare thee? So there also he talks about that whether I will compare my friend's beauty to a summer's day, but then summer's day will also come to an end. So rough winds do shake the darling birds of May, he says. So every time he's obsessed, because he loves his friend so much that he wants to make him immortal. And there also he ends up by saying that, oh my friend, you will remain forever. Your virtues will remain forever in these lines. So the same concept is there. Now, the speaker of his beloved friend and says that his friends will remain in these words forever. To him, kings and princes, sorry for the interruption, students. Now I shall continue.